So now we change language again to English because there are some partnering libraries who will say greetings to this seminar, to this symposium, and to the Slavonic Library. These libraries are our near partners. We have been collaborating with them, not so much maybe recently, but in future I'm sure that the cooperation with them will intensify. And I'm sad to say that we couldn't invite, for the reasons which came clear during this symposium, the Russian libraries, which we have also been cooperating for many, many years. They are unfortunately not present here, but some libraries, researchers from United States and from Prague are giving some greetings. And now I ask, is our first speaker Edward Kasinets? He is present, okay. So, Edward, I give floor to you, please.
Dear colleagues in Europe and America, I'm greeting you from the Hudson Valley, from Sleepy Hollow, New York. I'm very privileged to be able to participate in this centenary convocation in honor of the Slavonic Library in Helsinki, formerly the Russian department. By a happy coincidence, this Jubilee year for the Slavonic Library is shared by two other venerable collections, the Slovanská knihovna in Prague and the Slavonic, later Slavic and Baltic division of the New York Public Library, both celebrating, respectively, the 100th and 125th anniversary of their founding. My first professional visits to Helsinki came first in the 1970s during the first Cold War. The Slavonic Library then shared a building on the Finnish Gulf with the university's theological faculty. I remember this building very well because of its remarkable physical situation. This and subsequent research visits afforded me unfettered access, unlike my student days in Moscow, to explore the rich holdings of old Slavonic printed books, Russian folio plate books, and imperial era Gubernsky Viedomosti, provincial publications. These visits also afforded a pleasant respite to first meet American, British, and Finnish colleagues, some of whom, like Professor Simon Dixon, are speaking later today. In closing, I want to salute the great historic collections, former and present staff of the Slavonic Library in this, its centennial year. With great respect, Edward Kasinets. Thank you.
Thank you, Edward. And we gave the first floor to you because you know the Slavonic Library longer than anyone else, maybe the Natalia Bashmakov knows, has been in the Slavonic Library before you, but you are really a strong person supporting us. Thank you. Then we go to Slavic Reference Service. Joe Lenkart and Olga Makarova. Are Joe and Olga present there?
Yes.
Fine.
Good evening, colleagues. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to start by saying congratulations on this momentous anniversary. Our team, the Slavic Reference Service team, and the team at the Slavonic Library have been working together for more than 40 years. And everyone knows the collections, but we feel that this is a story about generations of librarians there at the Slavonic Library who have helped students and scholars from around the world. Every source that they shared or sharing currently, every collection, every item record that they've put together, and all the days and long years that they've spent helping so selflessly is probably one of the greatest achievements in our field. And I'm so delighted we're all delighted to congratulate them on this special anniversary. And we hope to continue this collaboration. Olga?
Thank you, Joe. Good afternoon, colleagues. Greetings from the University of Illinois, and thank you very much for inviting us to be a part of this celebration. Echoing Joe, we congratulate you on your 100th anniversary and many, many outstanding achievements. And adding to the chorus of grateful researchers and scholars, I must tell you that here at the Slavic Reference Service, we consult with the Slavonic Library catalogs and resources on a weekly basis. We know it's a reliable source to direct our patrons, and we're grateful to continuous support and collaboration with the colleagues at the Slavonic Library who presented at our online events on many occasions and were very generous with their time and support. And we hope that our collaboration continues and strengthens, and cheers to health and prosperity of the Slavonic Library. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Joe and Olga. It has been a great pleasure for us to cooperate with you and to participate all these webinars you are organizing. We are very happy to do that also in future. Thank you. Then we move to New York and Bogdan Horbal from the New York Public Library Slavic Division.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me, and greetings from New York. Mr. Kasnek has already noted that the Slavonic libraries in Helsinki and Prague share this anniversary year with the Slavonic collection at the New York Public Library. I'm delighted that later this year at the ACES convention in Boston, we will celebrate together by hosting a panel devoted to these three distinguished collections. At this moment, I'd like to highlight another connection between the Slavonic Library in Helsinki and the New York Public Library. It was probably mentioned today that Yakov Karlovich Grot was the first professor of Russian language, literature, and history at the Imperial Alexander University in Helsinki. On behalf of the University Council, he organized a separate Russian library and became the first librarian of the Russian Library in 1845. On a personal note, his son, Nikolai Yakovlevich Grot, was born in Helsinki in 1852. He became a scholar in his own right, best known as a professor of philosophy at Moscow University, chairman of the Moscow Psychological Society, and most importantly, the founder and longtime editor of Russia's first professional psychological journal, Вопросы философии и психологии. In 1894, he published Nравственные идеалы нашего времени, a book that explores the ideas of Nietzsche and Tolstoy. It is a remarkable coincidence that when the main building of the New York Public Library, now known as the Stephen A. Schwarzman Building, was opened on May 23rd, 1911, Nравственные идеалы was the first book served to a reader that day. Today, we keep it in the rare books division. I wish the Slavonic Library and its staff all the best on the anniversary year and look forward to celebrating many more successful years ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bogdan, and we'll meet in Boston in the conference, and then I have a great pleasure to visit the New York Public Library and know more about your Slavic division. Thank you. Then the Slovanská knihovna, the Slavonic Library in Prague, and Lukáš Babka. Lukáš unfortunately couldn't attend this part of the program, but he kindly sent us his speech, and Jussi-Pekka, which is a friend of Lukáš, will read it aloud to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, it's a great honor for me to present, at least in this way, the celebrations of Finnish Slavonic Library. And I'm very proud that, as a director of Slavonic Library in Prague, I can consider us as close partners. Coincidentally, the year 2024 is the centenary for both libraries that bear the word Slavonic in their names, both the Finnish and Czech libraries. Both have many things in common, both complement each other in their activities. Both Slavonic libraries in Helsinki and in Prague were founded in similar circumstances and began to develop their activities at the same time, not long after countries had gained their independence and redefined their relationship to Slavic issues and Slavic studies. I dare to say that the establishment of a Slavonic Library in Helsinki, it did help actually to build one to Czechoslovakia as well. In 1923, the Czechoslovak state expressed interest in buying the Russian library of former Imperial Alexander University in Helsinki. This would become a basis of the Slavonic Library in Prague. I'm sure this interest could have been one of the reasons why the Finnish university administration realized the importance of the library and decided to support and revitalize it in the form of still existing. The subsequent fates of our two institutions differed, of course, depending mainly on the political developments of our countries. However, the basic purpose of their existence was and still is the same, namely the service of Slavic scholarship and support the scholars devoted to various issues of Slavic studies, and especially to the problems of modern Eastern Europe. Indeed, the users are what unites the two libraries to this day. Often, researchers who had studied in Helsinki and then travel to Prague and come to our library tell us that they've been recommended the Slavonic Library in Prague by the people in Helsinki. And this could be something like supplementary resource for them, so they can use the both libraries. Conversely, we recommend a visit to Helsinki to researchers who work in our library and would like to expand their resources suitable for their research. The Slavonic Library in Helsinki is an institution without which responsible, in-depth research on Slavic topics cannot be imagined. And I believe that this will continue to be the same. This centenary is a beautiful and worthy cause of celebration. However, it is not the end of the story. On the contrary, it is also a commitment to further development and responsible work. I therefore wish the Slavonic Library of Helsinki, institution which I hold in high esteem, great success in its future activities. The understanding of its founders and, above all, many satisfied readers, because readers and researchers are the reason why such specialized libraries are needed and exist. Thank you for your attention, and let me take this opportunity to invite you to Prague, where the anniversary exhibition documenting the activities of Slavonic Library in Prague will be open from 5th of September till the end of October. Sincerely, Lukáš Papka.
Thank to Lukáš and thank to Jussi-Pekka for reading this greeting. Then Katja Rogachevskaya from the British Library, and she is present here. Please, Katja.
Dear colleagues, thank you very much for inviting me, and this is my great honor and pleasure to be here today with you celebrating this anniversary of your library, in sort of reflecting on this rich past and thinking about the future of the library. And I must say that I was very impressed looking at the collection development statement on the website of the National Library of Finland, where the area studies are actually singled out. And I think this is really, really important. And it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that all researchers in Slavonic and East European studies know about the library, and I'm not shy to send my inquirers and researchers to Finland if they can go there, and if we miss any of the items of periodicals in our collections. So, and we all know that to get to this point, a lot of work is happening behind the scenes. So I must say that the staff of the library created a wonderful atmosphere where researchers want to come to the library and in this to be in this space. And it's very important, especially now when we are so dependent on computers and gadgets, and me actually holding my phone just in case with my notes, so that they are part of us. But people come to the library to experience the special atmosphere of the research hub and to experience these kind of synergies that everybody were talking today about. So on this occasion, I would like to just congratulate all of you, and especially those who work closely with the Slavonic Library, and just wish you new interesting projects, great users, understanding from decision makers, and all the best from the British Library. Thank you.
Thank you, Katja, for these very wise words. Thank you. And then I invite the second speaker, Jürgen Warmbrunn from Herder Institute, please.
Now we are coming to the part where everything has been said already, but not by everybody. So I would just like to join all the others in congratulating you on this wonderful anniversary. And I do so not only on my own behalf, but also on behalf of APTOS, which is the German, or the Association of Libraries and Documentation Units on East Central and Southeastern Europe in the German-speaking countries, whose president I've been for longer than I care to remember. And I think that especially with Irma, we have collaborated, we have cooperated in a wonderful way over the past few years. And I especially remember how Irma helped me when I tried to formulate an overview over libraries' reactions to the full-scale war of Russia against Ukraine, because this had certain effects on acquisition policies in European libraries, and especially Irma's help and information helped me a lot. I must, I think, at this moment say that my connection with the Slavica goes back quite a long time, nearly 40 years, when I, for the first time, came to Helsinki as part of the university exchange between my home university, Münster University, and Helsinki University. And of course, I didn't know then that I would once become a librarian, but at that early stage, I first visited the Slavonic Kirjasto, and I think the contact has been wonderful ever since. And well, as you might have noticed, I like quotations. And another quotation that I like very much is by a Danish physicist, Niels Bohr, who said that predictions are difficult, especially when they concern the future. As far as the future of, or maybe I should put it otherwise, I'm very interested in library history, and actually I wrote my master thesis on the history of Slovanska Knihovna, but I'm neutral, so I think it was a good idea to keep the holdings here in Helsinki and not to give them to Prague. But don't tell Lukas. But as regards the future, there's one thing which is very clear to me: a library which has such a strong foundation of granite as your library must be well posed for the future. But I would also, on more serious terms, I also used to be head of a German Special Libraries Association, and during that time I often had discussions about the relationship between university libraries, for example, and special libraries. And one thing that I learned during that time is that we as special libraries, or as special librarians, and I think I can call the Slavonic Library in Helsinki also a special library, I don't think that we have such a bad future ahead of us, simply because I think that in times where, for example, university libraries in Germany more or less have all the same holdings because they all buy the same e-book packages and e-journal packages, specialization is a key to the future. And so I wish you and all the staff at the library here a bright future, a future, as Katja said, with wonderful users, with wonderful suppliers, with wonderful funding agencies. And yes, thank you for having me here, and all the best for the future.
Thank you, Jürgen, for these very inspiring words. This symposium couldn't happen without our partners in organizing it. And now I give floor to our Finnish partners, starting with Pia from the Venäjän ja Itä-Euroopan tutkimuksen seura VIETS ry. Please.
Thank you. Dear colleagues, on behalf of the Finnish Association for Russian and East European Studies, VIETS in Finnish, as you see there, I wish to warmly congratulate Slavica on this special celebration and to thank the staff of the library for your great work. Slavica is a hugely important research infrastructure and an important space for us scholars and students, as we have heard today. And we wish that our fruitful cooperation will continue also in the future. So congratulations.
Thank you, Pia. And then I invite Sara from the Slavistipiiri.
Thank you, Ilma. And I'm representing the Society of Finnish Slavists, and also want to congratulate the Slavic Library on behalf of this very small but strong Finnish academic society, founded in 1964 with the task to advance the research and teaching of Slavic languages in Finland, which is now maybe more important than ever, I think, as we've already heard from multiple, commentaries here during this symposium. And I don't have to highlight anymore how important this library is as a working space and as a resource, as the collections, what enormous role they play in the life of Finnish Slavists. There are many people who have contributed to the talks today who are previous key actors in the society. Pekka Pesonen, former chair for many years. Tomi Huttunen has also shared as a scholar, but I can also point to him as a former key actor in the society, as well as many more of us. So we have double, triple roles in the field. The circles are quite small and tight. But I can also go through a few significant points in history where we have intersected, where the paths of the Slavic Library and the Society of Finnish Slavists has intersected. And it actually starts from the very beginning of the society's history. Also mentioned many times during today, legendary librarian at Slavic Library, Maria Vidnes, was also a founding member of our society, but also a researcher and scholar of Slavic languages and teacher at the university. That kind of captures how many roles we have. And also over the history of the 60 years of the Slavic, Finnish Society the Society of Finnish Slavists, we've not only enjoyed this place as a working space, but also reflected on its importance in our events. There's also been a seminar some years or decades ago, actually, with a topic reflecting on the importance of the Slavic libraries. And I must say that majority of the talks were dedicated to Slavica. And also Slavica hosted an exhibition of the history of the Finnish Society of Slavists on its 40th anniversary. And that was curated and organized by Natalia Bashmakov, then secretary of the society. So we come together here, the history, the previous generations of the society, and want to again express a huge thanks and warmly congratulate the Slavica for its important work, and wish for many, many years to come of these collaborations with the future generations of Slavists in Finland. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sara. I really think that the Slavists, in a broad sense, are a very important group for the Slavonic Library, because it has been mentioned several times today that it's not only about Russia and Russian language, but also the other Slavic languages are important. And that's why we are keeping up these collections. We try to keep up collections on every Slavic languages, and we see it an investment for the future. So we have the same interest. Our last greeting will come from the Aleksanteri Instituutti, from the Sari Autio Sarasmo. Sari is a chair of the advisory board of the Slavonic Library, and so I decided to give the last word for her. Please, Sari, come.
So, hello everybody, dear colleagues. Yes, it's really a great pleasure to participate in this symposium, being a moderator, and also I have a chance to give hopefully not the last word as such in the literary meaning, but really, actually I'm standing here in two different positions. Yes, I am a vice director of Aleksanteri Institute, which is the Finnish Center for Russian and Eastern European Studies. And also I'm I've been for a while, a chair of advisory board of the Slavonic Library. And actually I would like to, well, it's so many things has been already said, but I think that when something is really, really good, it's not enough. You can say as many times how good it is. And we have seen that Slavonic Library is something that we all have Slavonic Library in our heart. But I would like to point out two things. First, something from the point of view of Aleksanteri Institute. I mean, all the time say Aleksanteri Instituutti, but Aleksanteri Institute. We have been collaborating many years, since 1995 when Aleksanteri Institute was founded. And I would say that, of course, it's important, Slavonic Library is important for our students, master level students, but also those PhD researchers that are connected to our institute. But even more, we have had, I don't know how many years already, but many years already, we have had this International Visiting Fellows program. And we receive, let's say, 200 applications every year, and we can accept only, let's say, 10 to come to work at the Aleksanteri Institute. And guess, which is, I would say, 99% of their applications, what they say, why they would like to come to Helsinki. Obviously, they would love to come to Aleksanteri Institute, but guess what is actually the second, definitely? Yes, Slavonic Library. So it's internationally renowned, it's known, people want to come to work here, and it's really extremely important. My second point is, and it has been several times said, this is what I say as a chair of advisory board, several times has been pointed out how wonderful staff there is at the Slavonic Library. But as a chair of this board, I have seen, of course I have a user point of view, but as a chair and participating committee and being able to listen in these meetings, what kind of work is done behind this collection, why the collections are so wonderful, I want to highlight the huge work, hard work, and the huge expertise the staff has. So we don't really understand when we go to the library and we see the collections, but really that collection exists only because of the people who are actually collecting it, handling it, and keeping it up for our researchers. So this is definitely something. So I want to congratulate Slavonic Library for 100 years of being part of Finnish National Library, but as was pointed out, it's much older than that. So I know now, and definitely in the future, the meaning of Slavonic Library well, now it's important, but it will be even more important in the future, whatever happens in the world. So congratulations, and I would almost like to say that, ura, ura, ura. So thank you.
Thank you, Sari. I think these words they were so nice to us, and I'm really happy that the work which is done in the library, so behind the curtains, you can't see it, but you can communicate with us, and you can make some suggestions what we should have and how we should do things. We are very happy to receive your feedback and your suggestions. For to close this long day, I'd like to say thanks to the National Library. Of course, Slavonic Library is part of the National Library, so it may sound a little bit funny, but we couldn't do this kind of event without the help of our magnificent Teemu and Tilhi, and our caretakers, and our administration, also the library leaders supported this idea to organize this kind of event, and this year we have still one event to come in November. So please keep your eyes open and look your email, so we will invite you once more to the closing event of this magnificent year. But now it's time to thank you all, especially the moderators, the speakers, the dialoguers, panelists, and we can now move to the university main building, where the reception of the university is starting. Actually, the university supports us to, it's really important to realize that we are part of the university, and that means a lot for us, and I think it gives us some support and some peace for work, that we are part of this academic institution and part of academic community. Thank you all, and have a nice evening at the reception. Thank you.